Wyndham, just take us back. I mean, I worked on the precinct for a few years, and it was a very dear place to me. You worked there for a very long time. To see it go up in flames like that must be quite a heart-sore moment.
Absolutely shocking. In fact, the fire started about near the gymnasium where my old office was. And so it would have started very close to where my office was, which I occupied from 1986 to only a few years ago. So yes, absolutely appalling.
Wyndham?
What I am most grateful for is that all the wonderful watercolor paintings that were in the old Council of Provinces building have been saved, and thank God for that. And I haven't heard that fire got into the library.
It was actually fireproofed, Wyndham, so the library, I believe, has been saved. Of course, there could be smoke damage, but certainly in terms of flame damage, it's still standing. Wyndham, you know, can you take us back to how important Parliament was? And it's an active space. I think that's what people perhaps don't understand if you haven't spent a lot of time there. It's a working, active space. How important it was in the transition from apartheid to democracy?
Well, it was absolutely crucial, and it was in those years, just after F.W. de Klerk took over from P.W. Botha, and de Klerk started bringing the started getting rid of all the old apartheid laws like separate amenities and stuff like that. And it was indeed a very exciting place to be, because the nation and the country were changing right before your eyes. And then, of course, that all dramatically changed in 1994 with the new order. And I was privileged to be in Parliament during that time. And it was nothing short of extraordinary.
Wyndham, explain what Parliament does that makes it more than a building. Why is it so important?
It's the soul of the nation, basically. It was a very evil soul pre-94 and pre-de Klerk, but that is where the rules that govern each and every life in South Africa are made. Whether they're made by decision of Parliament itself or through acts of legislation, that's where it happens. And so if the laws governing our lives are to be understood, then you need to be there. And everything about a life in South Africa would have to have happened somehow through Parliament. So it's not just a building, it's a complete ethos. And I mean, for me, seeing the photographs on the web today of the National Assembly chamber, which Nelson Mandela addressed for the first time after the 94 election, is just truly shocking that it's gone. Because that's part of the ethos and the spirit of the nation.
Wyndham, I always felt that sitting in the chamber as, I would call myself a cub reporter, really. I'm compared to you. I looked up to you enormously when I started. There was this definite energy and excitement at watching democracy at play. And even in committee meetings, there was some sort of synergy, some sort of electricity, some sense of movement that one feels when one is a working journalist at Parliament. Is that something that you think can ever be restored?
It's a very good point you make, and I'm unsure. The reason I'm unsure is because I think that the spirit of Parliament and the spirit of democracy is not dependent on a building. However, the building that has just burnt down was indeed the place where that energy was demonstrated for all those years. And so I think you're absolutely right. There was something special. Even in an old committee room in the old assembly, when you walked in, there were people busy with important things. And it's a massive, massive loss. But my instinct, and I hope I'm right, is that the spirit which is Parliament is something that isn't tied to a building. It's associated with that building, but if we have to run our democracy from a cave, well, then so be it.
That's one thing about South Africans is we make a plan. And Patricia de Lille said yesterday, if we have to have the State of the Nation address on an open field, we'll do it. So I hope that that does indeed. I hope that that happens. And thank you so much for chatting to us. That was Wyndham Hartley, a journalist and political commentator who was based at Parliament for many, many years.